where you belong. Give you strength to carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising,
Good evening, folks, and welcome to another match preview on the Toon Review. They are coming thick and fast at the moment as we now prepare for the visit of Manchester City in the Carabao Cup. Not a clue how Manchester City are going to line up. If you are led to believe what some of their YouTube channels are saying, they're going with a full-strength side. I think they're going to get a shock tomorrow because I can't see that being the case at all for Manchester City. For us, well, Eddie confirmed in his press conference that he will utilise the squad, whatever he means by that. But I do expect a few changes for us, some players to be rested, etc. But we will come on to that, of course. Guys, as usual, if you do enjoy tonight's show, please give it the thumbs up. You've been superb with the likes lately, and it's just what we need on the channel. It keeps us up there on the algorithms in YouTube, etc. And of course, if you're new and like what you see, please do hit the subscribe button. Come and join these bunch of rabble in the chat. Fantastic people that we have subscribed to the Toon Review. And of course, hit the notification bell as well, which will let you know when we schedule our live shows and we upload any videos such as the one I did earlier today. You can also donate to the channel if you do so wish by hitting the $sign at the bottom of the live comments. And you will get your comment read straight out. You can become a member if you hit the join button, and member perks, prizes, all sorts of stuff for our members. And finally, yet again, pinned at the top of the chat and at the top of the description is the link for the Football Content Awards finals for 2023. We are in the Premier League Best Podcast category. So if you just click the link, scroll down to Best Podcast, click on the drop-down menu for the Premier League, and you'll find the Toon Review. Thank you to everybody that's voted so far. You are absolute legends. But keep going, guys. Vote. Just keep voting. Clear your cash, vote. Clear cash, vote. Do what you have to do. The Toon Review, we need to be up there. We've got to win something this year. It'll be great to get something from it. So thank you in advance for that, guys. Alex, we'll start with some rather bad news, of course. I covered it in the video earlier on today about Harvey Barnes. Eddie confirming that it is a substantial injury.
I mean, I think we knew that. I think we'd ruled out weeks when someone sits down with no contact. It's definitely not going to be 2 or 3 weeks, is it?
No.
It doesn't look good. He's referenced it as an unusual injury. Obviously, he said he's not a medical professional, but it is what it is. We'll see how long it takes, whether it's a few months or not. It's just a shame that kind of left side. We've obviously got Joe Linton and Willock that can operate out there, and Barnes. All three of them are out at the same time, which is going to put. I mean, it's great for Gordon in terms of minutes and opportunity, and he's taking it at the moment. However, there are, more than a handful of fixtures between now and the new year. So we're going to start to get stretched. We might see. Yeah. Have we got any youngsters coming through on that sort of position? Not really, unless we start to see, obviously, Eddie Howe referenced Elliot Anderson being moved into more of a central role. We might even see somebody pushed out left, whether it's Murphy gets to go out there or Anderson. It depends. It depends what we're going to need. So we'll see. Or even Isak starting. But then that presents the same problem of who plays in striker.
Of course it does. Billy, there seems to be a plethora of, injuries, not just at Newcastle, but a lot of injuries for a lot of teams early doors. Can you put your finger on that as to why that is?
No, not really. The foot ones, I'm thinking, are the kind of slipperish type boots they wear these days. I don't think these get foot injuries used to happen years ago.
Yeah.
Certainly not to the same degree.
Yeah.
Metatarsals and broken toes and things
They
like
are
that.
very thin, the boots, aren't they? Very
Yeah,
thin.
it's very flimsy to get the feel that they want on the ball. So that's for the foot injuries. But the other injuries, you just don't know. We've had a very short in between kind of pre-season and beginning of the season, haven't we? Because of the World Cup being at Christmas time last year, kind of made the season longer and the pre-season shorter. Yeah. Maybe that's got something to do with it. People aren't fully rested. I don't know. I'm just surmising, but it's just the way it is, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. King Hoddle, our resident Spurs fan, says, good evening. I thought you were terrible against Sheffield United. Geordie Boy, good evening to you. New Jersey Geordie says, it's not in Eddie's DNA to not go for something. I think he will give it a good shot, but keep in mind rotations and fitness. Predator's voted loads of times today. Thank you, Predator. Keep on it, my man. Handmade Angler, Darren says, just voted for the other Newcastle channels at the same time. But couldn't find Adam P's channel. Adam P is under that one. If you go to Best in Video and click on Creators, Adam is there. So if you want to go and vote for Adam as well, and of course, another friend of the channel, Magpie channel, Matty, he is in the Best Club Content Creator for the Premier League. And just click on that drop-down box and you'll find Matty's there. And just to confirm, there is ours, Best Podcast Premier League. We're in a group of some very, very good channels, it's fair to say. And, to be up there with some of the big boys is really good. Of course, there's other Newcastle United channels there as well. So, as I say, go and vote for them all. Let's get Newcastle United content creators and channels and podcasts. Let's get them well known. Let's get them up there. But the Toon Review Army, you know where you've got to go first, because we want to. And we're not gonna lie about that. We want to win. I mean, it's pointless being in something if you don't want to win, which is interesting for tomorrow as well. Actually, Ian Badman, thank you very much for your £5 super chat. Looking forward to another great show from you lads. Thank you very much, Ian. Really appreciate that. Dan DG, who's been a member for 14 months, could we possibly see Lewis Hall further up tomorrow?
Potentially.
Well, we did talk about that last night, didn't we? About the possibility of maybe a formation change.
Potentially that too. But we can play him wide left if we need to. I think there's a possibility of it, to be honest.
The Iron Brew Kid, thank you for being a member for exactly a month. Just a way to vote, boys. Hope it all goes well at Anfield. Reckon it will be a tight game tomorrow, but think we'll get through. I know, Billy, you were backstage before the show. You were confident. I don't think there's any reason why we as fans can't be confident, because we've just come off a fantastic victory, and confidence is high amongst the team as well as the fans. But it's going to be a very interesting game, Alex, to see how Eddie approaches it more than anything.
Yeah. I mean, obviously people are going to throw raw meat out straight away, but I was really, really disappointed with the press conference that nobody discussed formations. I feel like it was poor journalism. I thought there were some great questions today, some great questions from some very good journalists, but there were a lot of repeat questions. You guys need to listen to each other, and if the question's been asked, cross out the question, ask another one that you've got prepped. You get salary to do it, do better. Formations, we've tinkered with a 5 at the back with wing backs in pre-season. We tinkered with it at the end of this game. Perfect time to query, what are we going to do formation-wise? Oh, Eddie, by the way, that formation that you swapped to at the end of the Sheffield United game, is that something we're going to see as a response mid-game, late game? Is this a plan B? Is this something you're going to use from the start of games? Is this a rotation? What is this formation? None of it. We got none of it, which is the journalist's responsibility, which really irritated me. There were so many good questions that just weren't asked.
Steak emojis. Steak emojis.
I'm just getting so frustrated because they're just going, how do you feel, Eddie? How does it feel? How do you think the footballers feel? Ask some bloody questions, man. Honestly.
Point is, though, I mean, the press conference is specifically for tomorrow's game. There's no way on God's earth Eddie Howe's going to give him a formation heads up.
No,
Absolutely
he's not. But I see
but
Alex's point, Billy. But
you know, you can ask, is this a plan B? Is this a?
Yeah.
They did it when they talked about Wilson and Isak, which was great. They were like, are they going to play together? Are they going to play one wide? Are they going to play two up top? Is it going to be a one or the other? They asked these enticing questions, and Eddie Howe gave some reasonable answers. Eddie Howe, if you put the fishing rod out there with tactics, he does like to talk about it. He will give you a little bit.
He's that kind of person.
Himself. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. There's a reason why he's so involved in the game. He's so passionate. And I just feel like we could have got a really good insight into something, even if it's not tomorrow's game. What's the deal with that shape? Why have we played it twice? Is there a reason? Are we going to use this in certain situations? Anyway, I thought I had to get that out there because that really
you well and truly did, Alex. Congratulations on that.
I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but that we could get so much more interesting interviews if people just ask better questions.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I've just seen somebody ask if I'm at the game tomorrow. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to go because my back is screwed. I'm going to have to go to the doctors about it. It's causing a lot of problems. If I'm standing for a long period of time, I think it's sciatica, but I need to get it sorted by the doctor. But we will be here for the watch along. It's live on Sky, so we will have it, and we are back again tomorrow night with more commentary. And thank you to everybody that's put a comment on the best bits of mine and Billy's commentary that was uploaded on Sunday. Of course, I didn't realize that Billy pulled his shirt up above his head and was dancing. I didn't even notice that. I was too busy doing the graphics. So, it was brilliant. And we've had a big response to that. And again, when I listen to myself back and I'm thinking, did I really come out with that? Take that, you twats, and all of that. I mean, it's pure passion, isn't it, Billy? And, you look back and you think, God, it was fun to do that. But that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, it's whatever comes out your mouth comes out your mouth. Like you say, it's passion, isn't it? Whether you swear or you don't swear, or you say something silly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you say the wrong word and it makes it sound a million times worse or funnier. It's just what happens at that time. You can't predict what's going to happen. It's all unscripted, isn't it? It's simple as that. Absolutely.
James says the other channels don't have Paul, Alex, and Billy. That's why you're the best. Thanks, James. Much appreciated, mate. Lovely thing to say. The rough yard Burnican. It sounds like a foot fracture, possibly a metatarsal. I hope it's not a Jones fracture, as a lot of these require surgery. Interesting that Eddie did say, Alex, that we're waiting of the scans to see if it needs surgery. So clearly, it's a serious injury.
Yeah, I mean that rules out it being short term. The fact that he's pointed to months means it's obviously not going to be sort of 6 weeks. 8 weeks. It sounds, I mean, that's purely speculation on my part, but those kinds of injuries, a lot of people have have related it to the Rooney injury pre-World Cup back in the day. A lot of people have brought up a lot of, but again, we don't know exactly what the problem is, so we can't assume things like that. Again, we're not medical professionals either. Sorry to anybody who is a nurse or a doctor in the chat. Obviously, you guys are, but we're not, and we don't know, and we won't know until he's had a proper professional give an opinion. I mean, is it better to have surgery or not have surgery? I think that's highly dependent on what the injury is and what the issue is. I just feel like it's pretty fair to suggest we're not going to see him maybe until closer to Christmas time. If we're very, very lucky, we might see him in December, just based on Eddie Howe's comments and the whole vibe about it.
I mean, metatarsal injuries, Billy, I mean, we've seen them before, and they've kept some big names out. I remember Rooney, and all that stuff, and he went away with England, and he shouldn't have gone because he clearly wasn't fit. No. They tried to rush him back, and that ended up going against them. So it is a very, very delicate injury.
Yeah, it's one that's got to be rested properly. The Trippier had it, didn't he, season before
last?
Yeah. He was out for virtually the rest of the season. And every time he gets to kicking it now, we worry about it because sometimes he just go down with it, doesn't he? With foot injuries. So you've got to be really careful. And it's a shame for Barnes because he's just starting to get a foothold in the team, getting starts. And now he's got to go back to square one and get himself fit. Obviously, it's not a muscle injury or anything like that, so it's going to be okay, muscularly wise. But that bone, or if it's a bone or whatever it is, it's going to take time and he's going to have to get match fit again. I don't think we'll see him this year, if I'm perfectly honest. It's months rather than weeks. Yeah. It's a shame for the lad. It really is. It puts us in a bad position, doesn't it? Because We sold our other really good winger. We've got Gordon. That's it. Unless we can kind of move Allenson out there or Joe Linton or whatever.
Well, he's got options to come back, hasn't he? But
yeah,
it's just we really, Newcastle will certainly not risk anything with him, and they'll make sure, that he's fully fit before the try. There's no need to rush him back. We have got players. I mean, Joe Linton's been spotted in training today as well, by the way. But obviously, he's just resumed training, so he'll not be available for. I would have thought maybe he might be targeting PSG. I mean, Joe Linton would be wonderful to have back for that game, given his physicality. RG Fox says, get that man a press pass immediately, calling for Alex to have a press pass. Tom says, Alex's Steakhouse, the kitchen is now open. Marvin says, I'm getting a little concerned about these injuries. Let's hope we can pull through and the players get well soon for the game tomorrow. I'll start Dubravka in goal, Hall and Livramento on the wings, wing back, and Lascelles in. I expect a goalkeeper change tomorrow, but lots of steak emojis coming in again from David says I had no idea we had Simon Jordan on the Toon review.
Yeah, well, to build on that again, another good question. Dubravka, is he going to start tomorrow? Obviously, it was really interesting. Last year, he played for Man United in the same competition. He's got a winner's medal. Was that awkward? Baiting question, controversial. So much free stuff that they didn't use.
Yeah,
guys, it's your full-time job. You've had all day in an office to write this stuff. God,
yeah, but the more it goes on, though,
so
Alex,
much.
Yeah, I realize that.
Press conferences, honestly.
But the more it goes on, are you not more and more convinced that they are told to ask certain questions? I know Keith Downey denied that, but he might not. But it's just a bit.
I like
fishy.
Keith Downey's questions though. There's a few of them that ask really good questions.
That's what I mean.
I'm one of the people that likes. I like people like Craig Hope because I think he asks difficult questions. I know certain people don't. I like these questions because he's willing to go play in places that people won't go. That's the whole point in journalism, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, we as a channel, we try not to be too hostile to a point because we love the club. We don't want to upset people. But again, they're journalists. That is literally their job, is to try and provoke and get some interesting answers. That's literally what their job is. And there's so much low hanging fruit there in terms of the whole Dubravka situation. You can play that in with, are they going to rotate keepers, formations? There was so much there. There was honestly so much there.
I mean, they might be told not to be told what to ask, but they might be told what not to ask, which is more the point, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I meant, actually. Yeah, good point, Billy. Irani Granny says, Alex is right. They need to ask better questions because I haven't had an update on the bacon in years.
Lean back. I haven't done that bacon in years.
Conrad says, I need insteps in my shoes to help with my back. Interesting. Harp says, first time up in Newcastle to watch the game this Saturday. Where will you be, Paul, to come say hello? Great news on the Continent Awards and good luck.
Paul, where will you be?
I'll be by the Jackie Milburn statue.
If you better, if you can walk.
If I can walk, yeah. I mean, look, George has put in, he'll be at the game tomorrow. He sits in front of me, and it's more sweets for him. Listen, I haven't ruled it all out yet. I'm just saying, if it's as bad as it is right now, there's no way I can go, which is just annoying. It's one of those things. Robert says, sciatica, I'll keep moving. Don't give in to it. Speaking from painful experience. Robert, what painkillers did you take? What worked for you? Let me know. Randall says, good evening, lads. I keep missing the start of these. We'll catch it on Spotify. No problem, matey. Daniil Baines, good evening to you. Haven't seen you for a while, bud. Hope you're well. Paul Tully says, did anyone see the NUFC match cam? The vile drivel those Sheffield United fans were throwing was horrendous. And people complain about Paul swearing. Dear God.
They're right bastards. Right bastards.
Yes. And there is George's comment. Bad news, Paul. I'll have more sweets to myself. I haven't ruled it out completely, George. Hopefully, I'll get in to see the doctor before Saturday and get some proper painkillers. But we'll see. We'll see. Raised says, does anyone know how Kraft is getting on? Because it reminded me it's been out since the first game of the Cup last year. Yeah. I mean, there's been no updates on him.
Still on the injury list on websites. I mean, again, another thing that they could have asked. Low-hanging fruit. Kraft was injured in this fixture last 12 months ago. It's all there. Free journalism. That's
but it was over a year ago, wasn't it? Because it was the first round. We haven't.
It was the first round. Yeah. Well,
Well, yeah,
second one,
but
wasn't it?
again, another question they could have asked that they haven't asked.
Indeed. Stephen says there's definitely worse places we could have lost a player. Big Joe, Anderson, Willett, Gordon, all can play left. Yeah, but at the moment, two of those that you've mentioned are injured. And Gordon needs a rest. You know, he can't. He's a very, very high intensity player, Billy, and we can't keep just throwing him in left, right, and centre every game because it will catch up on him.
And he's had no preseason also, so he's kind of been constantly playing.
Yeah, he's played all summer as well. Yeah,
since January. So yeah, he definitely needs a rest. I don't think he'll get one against Burnley, but I do believe he'll get one tomorrow.
David T says Beckham's metatarsal was national news for weeks. Well, yeah, because it was Beckham. Irish Toon says Barnes going to be a big miss over the next 3 to 4 months. Games are coming thick and fast, so we will be light on that side now. I don't think we'll be light. As the previous commenter said there, we have got players who will be coming back. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't miss him. And look, I want him to come back in sparkling form and do what he did for Leicester last year. But he's got a hard job getting in the starting 11 anyway, Alex.
Who's got who exactly?
It's nice to know you're paying attention to the show.
I was.
Harvey
I just
Barnes,
read-
mate.
Oh, specifically Barnes. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, because of the comment. I mean, no, I disagree with that. I think now was the time to start bedding him in and giving him more minutes and starts in rotation with Gordon, and that's all gone down the toilet. I think that was his time. I think he was going to play the full game at Sheffield United, and I think this was the plan, and it's just very unlucky. Hal recognises that he's not played enough yet. He's been training for a few weeks. He's got his fitness up, ready for a full start, and then this happens. Just the nature of the beast, really. It's that's why he was so devastated. I feel very sorry for him. And again, it's not like he's. I don't want to say he's not got time on his side. That's not fair. That's going back to the. I'm going to get comments about that. But again, we've not signed him as a 21, 22-year-old prospect. This is a guy who's 26. We've signed him because he's ready. He's one of those players that's kind of more expected to not have a massive bedding in period because he's played a ton of football in the Premier League, been very competent, scored loads of goals for a good Leicester side, apart from obviously last season they were awful. The expectation was that he was going to be useful a lot quicker. So the fact that he hasn't been, despite there were glimpses of it in pre-season, and now unfortunately it looked like he was just about to start getting some rotation and runs of games, this happens. But again, I'm under no illusions. I fully trust Eddie Howe. I mean, he mentioned this a lot in the press conference, and it was quite a cheeky little comment. I loved it. It was great. He showed a bit more character today in this press conference. He said, I don't want to misquote him. I'll have to paraphrase it. It was something along the lines of if people don't understand concepts. It was great. He was like, if you're going to question my choices, that's fine. It's not my fault you don't understand them. He had a proper dig at certain fans. It was quite eloquently put, but he had a little cheeky dig at people that don't understand his selections. And it was interesting. And he makes a valid point that he's not playing certain players straight away because he sees them in training. He knows if they're ready or not, which justifies things like the Dan Burn selections when everybody's criticizing him. There are reasons that we're not privy to. He is far more qualified than all of us, to be fair. So
yes, he is.
Who are we questioning?
Julie J says Adam P has a press pass, so should Stato. Well, he doesn't have a press pass to get into the anything like that. It's a press pass he's got for a media pass for the ladies team, of course, but nothing to get into the sort of big press conferences with Eddie. But you never know. Maybe we will get invited to go to one of these eventually and noticed by the club because 2 years running now, making the finals of the Football Content Awards, representing our club. Maybe we will one day. Maybe we won't either. Jackie Nicholson says, I don't think Eddie will change much, to be honest. Oh, I think he will, Jackie. I think he will. Dylan says, sorry to hear, probably he'll miss the match, Paul. I hope you feel well for Burnley and PSG. Listen, they'll have to put me in a box 6 foot underground for not to go to PSG. I will crawl on my hands and knees to that football ground to see the first Champions League game at St James's. So, yes, Alex?
I'm just, to everybody in chat, I'm not biting on the Maxi stuff. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. It's not happening.
Oh, dear. Kev says he loves it, Alex. Mick says, first time watching Newcastle a month ago, and I've been lucky to get a ticket for PSG in the ballot. Over the moon. There you go. That's what the ballot's all about.
I wouldn't tell people that around you at the ground. They're probably not going to be very happy about that. But well done anyway. That's amazing.
Well, why? He came out the ballot. He hasn't done anything wrong.
Yeah, I know, but there are a lot of stingy fans, aren't there? About
Well,
it's
yeah,
a
but
very
listen,
it's a
I know it's a talking point with a lot of people, but listen, you put your name in the ballot and you wait, your name gets pulled out.
Yeah, agreed.
You
But
know.
again, there are a lot of
Maybe don't do it outside the ground amongst people who ain't going in. That might be a better idea.
well, yeah.
Well, yeah, yes. Just shuffle yourself in the ground. Mrs. Toon Review, Susan says Paul would be 10 foot with insoles. She's got a point, to be honest. I can't say anything about that. I would be. Spoon says you better be there tomorrow, Paul, man. I've not seen you for bloody ages. I know. I'm trying, man. Davey says I double up on 2 ibuprofen and 2 paracetamol. It helps for a few hours. I've seen somebody mention. Paul says, "What about Susan's healing hands?" I'm not going there because I'll get slapped.
That might
Toon
work as well.
Rocket, Billy, leave it. The Toon Rocket says, "Get Miley involved. Great to see him get some minutes." I think he'll play tomorrow, Bill.
I think there's a very good chance of it. Yeah, I agree. Very good chance of it.
Yep. Robert Fleming says sciatica issues. Big fat gorilla glue doobie. Oh my goodness! There's been a couple of suggestions of the greenery, but no. Listen, I know it's taken for medicinal purposes in certain places, but there you go. Somebody mentioned I think somebody mentioned codeine. Listen, codeine to me is like giving a Marifat pea to a hippo, right? It just does nothing, absolutely nothing. Some people, I'm serious, Alex, right? Some people will come out and say, "Oh, codeine, it knocks me for 6." Honestly, it's like giving 1 Marifat pea to a hippo. The hippo will just look at you and go,
That really tickled me for some reason.
"What is that?" That's exactly what the hippo would say, and that's exactly what I do when I take
I mean, that's
codeine.
not what the
It
brown
doesn't-
ale did, to be fair. The brown ale affected you more than I thought.
Because it was my first ever brown ale. It was 1,000 degrees in the studio, Alex. There was reasons. And it was all
brown
Billy.
ale then.
It was all Billy's fault anyway. Well, I've got to drive, Billy.
Not if you get the train, you ain't. You can float to the train station.
Yes, and then I will not get off the train because I've passed out and I'll end up in Aberdeen, which is not somewhere I want to be on a Wednesday night, Billy. To be fair, nothing against Aberdeen, but that's a long way from home on a Wednesday night. So, yeah. Dam says voted. Hope you win, guys. Love everything you put out. Love from Norway. Thank you, Dam. Is your brother called Bam Bam? That was terrible. Move on. Rossi says, if we do lose a player, left side is our strongest position compared to others. It is.
I mean, not at the moment, it's not.
Well,
they're all injured.
Yes.
Or sold.
Glucosamine cheap will definitely help ease discomfort. I've never heard of some of this medication. I've clearly never lived.
Qualified pharmacists in the chat.
Indeed. Dick Lefenick, suppositories. If it's no, I am sticking nothing up there. Thank you very much. We had enough of anal and anus on the watch along the other day, so let's not even go there. David says it's crazy to think we are short on that left side after selling the sensational Maxi. Do you agree, Stato? He's saying nothing. He's been
never saw him go down for no reason with the dodgy foot, did you?
No, never. You're trying to wind him up. It's not going to work. God, Predator saying, try gabapentin. What the hell is gabapentin? I used them after a back injury at the gym. Worked great for me. Daniil saying Tom's and Billy's podcasts on Patreon are spot on. Yes, well, just to let you know, we are. Yes, what we're going to do is straight after the games, we're going to do a Patreon podcast, an immediate reaction to the game for around 20 minutes. So it'll give you basically be a raw, intense reaction, an instant reaction to the game. So everybody will, they'll get the proper rugged reaction, not 24 hours later when the dust has settled. So if you interested in that, get across to Patreon, join up as a member on there, and you will get instant reactions to the matches on Patreon. And they will be instant. They will be full-blooded, because you know what we're like. You know, it's passionate, and the 24 hours that we normally do between a match and a match review, that won't be the case on Patreon. It'll be about 20 minutes of pure either anger or absolute happiness. So, yeah. Get yourselves over to Patreon. The link is in the description for that as well. Jackass's hypothetical question: did Eddie get the team selection wrong by picking Barnes? Well, we'll never know, really, will we? Because
he had to rest Gordon, didn't he? He had to do it, but luckily for us, it wasn't luckily for us in the sense that Harvey Barnes got injured. But the fact he got injured allowed us to bring Gordon on, and he was best on the pitch by a country mile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But of course, we know what happened when Barnes went off. Is it because, would you say, Billy, that Gordon's more direct than Barnes at going at defenders?
Yeah, it's quicker. He's quicker, more direct, whereas Barnes is a more of a give and go type player, isn't he? 1-2s and get himself in the box type player. I just think Gordon's more direct, and against that defence, I think Gordon obviously causes more problems, and Barnes is little technicality stuff that he does.
Yep. Pont Mag says maybe Newcastle should do a one-off Meet the YouTubers press conference. Would be a fun watch. Stato bringing the stakes. Paul Galland, is that you? Listen, it's not a bad idea. You know, I mean, YouTube is now a media source. I don't know. All I know is we've never had any contact with the club since we've been going. So I want that to change, and people know I do, but we'll see. 12-man Toon says Sheffield's defence was wider than Daisy's legs on a Saturday night. It was.
How dare you?
Yeah, don't slag off Billy's ex. David says, sadly, no success in the ballot, so I've got to cancel my hotel. Yeah. Kev Tay says, Marafat to a hippo, laughing emojis. Well, you know, RG Fox, top analogy, pea and hippo. Well, yeah, look, you give a pea. I'm not talking about a garden pea either. I'm talking about a fat Marafat one. You know, you give that to a hippo, they're going to look at you and think, I haven't even tasted that. You know, I can't even chew it. You have to give a hippo a watermelon or something. You know what I mean? But codeine just doesn't do it.
What are we talking about?
Alex, you know us. We like to, talk about things. Digress. That's right. David says he's voted on 5 devices. Thank you very much. Talking hippos on the Toon review. Absolutely. Mark, I'm not reading that comment out because we don't condone any sort of greenery, but I do understand your point. Jackie says, new saying for Paul, tickle me tonsils with a Marafat pea. Indeed, yeah. And Acid says, Paul, I can get you some real painkillers, but it's a slippery slope. Yeah. Oh, dear. Ian says, can we vote more than once for you, mate? I've done it all on the devices. Yeah, clear your cache and you'll be able to do it again.
So to do that, Control F5 on any device that's not Apple, or you can Google how to clear your cache and then vote again.
Or you can just go into the settings, or the internet settings, and where you can clear your history, which Billy does a lot, and you will see clear cache in there as well.
Or apparently, if you vote in private or incognito mode, you can do it as many times as you want. You haven't got clear cache. Exactly.
So just Google how to do that.
Whatever incognito mode is.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Yes. Hides things from the local constabulary, Billy. One lion. What a name. Guys, would you be able to bring back Minte in January? It depends what's in the agreement, to be honest. Right now, I would bring him back.
No.
Absolutely.
He needs a full season.
I think it is a 12-month agreement anyway, isn't it? So
it's tempting based on how he looks like. He looks absolutely outrageous. You know, his pace, his physicality, his goals, the way he's playing, his confidence. But that's for a reason. He needs that. He needs that run of games and belief. He looks like he's getting settled. You've got to give him the season there.
Yeah, absolutely. King Huddle says you need a doctor who has taken the Hippocratic oath.
Christ almighty.
I don't think he can help at the minute either. People need to stop talking about suppositories, by the way, because that is not going to happen. Have you ever had a suppository, Billy?
Yeah, for the good it did, I might as well shoved up my ass.
My God. My God. My actual God. Anyway, to the game, Billy. Man City, Pep's already said that he's making a lot of changes because he has been overrun with injuries as well, of course. But he has said that Grealish is starting tomorrow. And I think there's a couple of others he said are starting. But Grealish hasn't played for a bit.
Yeah, he's got players that need minutes in the legs. But with Manchester City, it's they're in the same situation as Liverpool were a couple of years ago when they won the Champions League and had to go and play in the World Club Championship. They got to the quarterfinals, had to play against Aston Villa, and basically put an under-18 side out because all the players they had were over in Saudi Arabia with this World Club Championship, which Manchester City will have the same sort of quandary. So there's actual no point in Man City actually trying to win this game tomorrow. They're not going to win it because they're going to get knocked out in the quarterfinals because obviously the first team and reserve players will all be away. So I anticipate Grealish playing, maybe Calvin Phillips and a few others. Rico Lewis perhaps will play because he possibly needs minutes. But the rest of them, I think you're going to see a lot of young players. And I just don't think their hearts are going to be in it tomorrow, if I'm perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Alex, what kind of attitude? I mean, if Pep is given this sort of attitude, in the press conference saying that, about the injuries and about how other things are main priorities to Manchester City. I mean, how would that sort of go down with the players? Would they have the same attitude as the manager?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a little bit different there. I think generally with our club, the players, if you watch the players have interviews, they normally echo a lot of comments of Eddie Howe with, we want to win the next game, we focus on this, they often echo the manager's comments. Whereas with Manchester City, if you watch a Jack Grealish interview, if you watch a Pep Guardiola interview, there's not really a lot of similarities there. It's completely different. I don't think the players are too bothered. I think the press conference is the press conference for Pep. I think he'll say whatever he needs to say. And I think behind closed doors, he will want to win every game. And he will want to be competitive. I'm more optimistic about this game than I was about the Premier League fixture. However, I don't know. I think we've got to be ready. I think people are vastly underestimating the rotation strength of Man City. I think Calvin Phillips is better than people seem to think he is. I know he's not quite performed at the level we all thought. However, he's still a brilliant player. He was very good for Leeds and he got the transfer for Manchester City for a reason. He's not a bad player. Nor is Nunes, who they've just signed in midfield as well. Rico Lewis, who's presumably going to come in as well, who dislodged Kyle Walker for parts of last season and was playing in an interesting shape. They're outrageously good. Their depth is stupid. Like Alvarez as well, World Cup winner, scored the goal against us last time. Outrageously good. So clinical. This is a different kettle of fish, guys. It's not just
actually
a good team rotation.
The other players that would be starting are Phillips and Kovacic.
I thought Kovacic was injured.
No, Kovacic is playing.
He's back
he has been injured
but on all the websites, so maybe he's going to return then.
Pep's confirmed he's playing, so because he needs match fitness. David says Pep's attitude at the press conference not very inspirational. Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. He seemed really sort of dismissive of the game completely, which isn't like him, Billy.
Because as I've pointed out, with this World Club Championship, there is little point in them actually winning it. It just gives them an extra game. They've got injuries also. They've also got not the biggest squad you'd think, actually. 20-odd players, which for a side that spent that much money is quite, it's quite small. And to give them an extra game by winning this game doesn't make much sense. So I actually believe they're going to go into it as a training session, really, and just get these players some minutes in their legs. And I don't think they're going to build for it at all. If I'm perfectly honest, and it could backfire me massively. Yeah. That's my opinion. I just don't think they're going to build for it whatsoever. Especially as the manager's kind of indicating those things in the press conference. It's an unwanted game for them. The Carabao Cup is a game that it's a trophy that Pep loves. But I just think this year it kind of coincides with that World Club Championship, which I think they really want.
Yeah. David says, Stato's Steakhouse, a good new idea for the fan zone. Oh, yes. Could you imagine? We'd actually be doing a pre-game broadcast from Stato's Steakhouse. I mean, it wouldn't get any better
We can
than
have
that.
tomahawk steaks and we can have firejack bombs, or fireball bombs even. We'd have fireball dropped into a pint of brown ale. There you go.
Oh, I've got a bottle of fireball in the kitchen.
Well, there's what a surprise! I suppose you got brown ale there as well, Billy.
I haven't actually, but it's on the next menu. That's for certain.
I thought it might. Right, Alex, take it away with your graphics.
Yeah, well, let me just obviously add in somebody who I thought was injured. There we go. Kovacic is going in there. So, Manchester City. This is kind of a collected, predicted lineup from the Man City YouTube channels I've watched today when I've had a chance. This is what a lot of them are kind of throwing out on their own graphics. It's an interesting one. I think Ortega is a fair shout, and I think 2 or 3 of those defenders will likely start. Lewis, I think, is a given 100%. I'm not so sure about the other 3, Gvardiol, Ake, and Akanji. I don't know if all 3 will play. Maybe. I think there might be one of those dropped out. I agree with what Billy said at the beginning of the show. I think it will be this, potentially with maybe Kovacic playing as well, like that. But then I think maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 of this lineup is going to change into academy players or maybe some of the younger players. We might see that. We might see a lot of them on the bench.
There is no way Haaland plays tomorrow. Okay, there's no way.
I'm just. This is what I've pulled off a lot of the Man
Yeah,
City.
no,
YouTube
that's what I
channels,
mean.
but it
That's what I mean.
isn't,
I just cannot see Pep playing Haaland tomorrow because it's one of these where they've got a lot of games coming up as well. And they need him.
I agree. So
yeah,
this is just pulled off the YouTube channels from the Man City, the Man City guys. I feel like we'll see some sort of Oscar Bob players.
Oscar
Bob. As we've seen in the chat there from Irani Granny. Where's Oscar Bob?
I'm lost.
They remember Oscar Bob? He was on the bench for the game, the league game.
Oh, Oscar, of course, yes. Channel Right, thank you for your membership. I think that's a renewal, actually, but welcome. Thank you for your continued support, and welcome to the family again. Sorry, Alex, continue.
Yeah, so I think it'll be this. Obviously, there's Jeremy Doku, the new signing, who is outrageous. We've obviously done him on 2 or 3 transfer shows in the past. However, probably needs a rest at this point. Maybe he'll be rotated. Although I think there's we might see Jeremy Doku in the starting lineup. I think obviously Grealish, Kovacic, Phillips are guaranteed. Possibly Alvarez, Haaland and Foden might not play. We might get some rotation. There might be an additional youngster in defence as well, on top of not just Rico Lewis. There might be another one. I don't know if you want to see what I've got for our version of it as a possible lineup.
Yes,
so I've gone. So don't be shocked before anybody kills me for this. This is a complete left field guess based on.
It's all we can do. It is just guesswork because it's
no. You're going to be shocked. You are 100% going to be shocked.
God,
you're going to be massively shocked. So I think he may go with his funny back 5. There's got to be a reason for it. I think this is a game we see it. I think if he's going to play Livramento and Hall, I think he's going to do it in a back 5 to start off with because it's what we've seen. I'm just going on what we've seen. I think obviously Dummett coming in is a possible no. He might play Burn, but again, I'm thinking of rotation. Lascelles coming in because he's the club captain. I feel like he'll get a game. Again, that midfield 2 could be any variation. It could be Longstaff. It might not be that, but I think this is a kind of shape or idea he may go with. I don't know why. I've just got a gut feeling. It's one of the reasons I wish they'd have asked more questions in the press conference regarding this. I think Jacob Murphy picks himself because obviously Miggy played last game. Isak up top, Gordon on the left because who else goes there unless we push Anderson out wide. And Eddie Howe made a specific point in the press conference of stating we've moved.
Can I just point out, Alex, that you keep putting Jacob Murphy as number 16? That's twice.
Well, no, I don't keep. It's because this is the same graphic that I never close. What is Jacob Murphy's number?
He's 23.
23.
How did you not know that? That is a complete disservice.
I was about to say it. So yeah, I mean, maybe we might see possibly that. Or some variation of that, but then again, I feel like I'm not super confident in that. maybe. We might even see, obviously, Miley come in. A lot of people are wanting Miley to maybe start. I think he might be on the bench. Is Matt Ritchie injured?
Not that I know of, no.
I don't know. Yeah, this is a game that, he was involved a lot in pre-season. I could even see Matt Ritchie doing
It's a
something
very,
in this
very,
game.
very difficult team to predict, to be honest. Really difficult.
It is. We could stay with the 4-3-3 and put Ritchie in the starting lineup. It's really difficult to try and predict. I'm going to go with this, just an absolute stab in the dark based on.
I think it's risky. I think it's very
five.
risky going two in midfield, though. I really do, against Manchester City. Whoever they pick, we know they've got, class. They could put two 11s out and play each other and still be two absolutely quality sides. So this is it's so difficult. It really is. Darren Cox, thank you for your £2 super chat. He says either result has a positive for us tomorrow. Yes. Well, I guess so. I mean, look, I'd like a cup run again. Look, people are going back to last season and the fantastic trip we had to Wembley, and it was just wonderful, wasn't it? It was just incredible. And look, we yearn for that again. We want that. That's what we want as fans over and over again. Is trips to Wembley, cup finals, etc. But we have to.
If
take
we'd have
things
drawn
into
Sutton
perspective.
United, we could have had a complete changed 11, but we didn't. So,
well, we didn't. No. 45 miles an hour winds are due for the match as well. Well, that'll be raving around St James's Park.
Is Alex Murphy still injured?
I don't know. I haven't heard much about Alex Murphy at all. But if he is,
he'd have been a good shout for this if he was fit. But...
Absolutely. But I think Dummett's still ahead of Alex Murphy in the pecking order for these kind of games. I still think Dummett is.
You'd be surprised. I mean, Dummett.
Well,
when
I know,
we used
but...
that funny back five, Dummett was the go-to guy in that exact position. I don't know. I've just got a feeling. I've got a feeling because I think he's going to want to play.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but Ian's just putting the chats in. If we play that formation, we're getting battered. I mean, you mentioned it when you first put it up, Alex, about the two in midfield, whoever it may be. I don't think Bruno will start tomorrow. I think Toon Army will.
Look, why? Okay, logical reasons, right? A lot of people are saying Lewis Hall plays in midfield as well. He's a midfielder. We subbed on Lewis Hall and Tino Livramento against Sheffield United. We could have stayed, theoretically, with our four at the back. Because Byrne could have just moved over. Botman, Cher, Livramento, four at the back. It would have been fine. But no, Howe changed to a back five with wing backs to try a shape. We didn't need to shape. We didn't need to shore up shop. We were 8-0 up. Like, we were 7-0 up at that point. He's done that for a reason. And it makes this is the whole point in this prediction. Because why would he have done that? Because he at the end of that Sheffield United game, he literally could have just moved.
Was it not just about putting players on for getting minutes in the legs, Alex, rather than trying out a formation that he may or may not play tomorrow?
Well, no, because he could have just put Hall in midfield. He could have just played that shape, couldn't he? And he chose not to. He had the personnel to play 4-3-3, and he chose to play this shape. It was a conscious decision. Lewis Hall could have gone into the midfield as the left-sided 8 and done that Anderson role, which is what I thought might happen. I thought it might have been a straight swap, or he'd have gone into that position. But we changed to a back five, which there's got to be a reason for it.
Well, David Smith makes a good point. Hence the paper note to Longstaff when obviously made the sub. He obviously handed that paper to Longstaff with obviously what the formation was. It's interesting. I mean, I don't know, because we don't know what sort of side Man City are going to put out. If it's academy kids in the midfield, then yes, I think that would work. And I think Lewis Hall and Livramento bombing forward certainly helps us out. I just worry. I just can't see him starting Gordon again, Alex. That's the thing, because the games we've got coming up, the Premier League game. Well, exactly. It's a good point. Does he play Elliot Anderson there?
Well, again, that was something I've considered when I put this graphic together, but purely based on his comments in the press conference about Anderson being converted more as an 8. Oh, he used to play wide left. He played out wide for. He didn't reference Bristol Rovers, but he could have done. And And he made a specific point on referencing that we've moved him into midfield into an 8 and he's had to learn a new role, which makes me think, well, no, I don't think he'll play Anderson out wide purely based on his press conference. He wouldn't have said that otherwise. Otherwise, he'd have made a point to say, oh, but we still see Anderson as a person who can play out wide. I think he would have added that if that was where he believed he was going to be playing. The fact that he's just said he's a converted midfielder makes me think he's not going to play out wide again. Unless it's, in really, really specific situations.
Yeah. Billy, what's your thoughts?
I think Anderson's going to play as a wide left on, to be honest.
You think he's going to play?
Anderson wide left, yeah. I think so.
It just seems.
I don't think he changes the formation.
As a one-off, I think I just think I'd like to see Gordon rested because I'd prefer Gordon to play in the Premier League and the Champions League game rather than this huge amount of games that we've got coming up. I know there's an international break again, but even after that international break, it then leads into the Christmas period, which of course is very, very busy.
So I think this is the other obvious one that people are going to predict, with maybe Botman for Burn as a debatable one, right? Probably what a lot of people have got in their head.
That's what I had in my head, to be honest, or close to it.
Me too.
I
wouldn't be surprised also if Target plays instead of Hall. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I'd be very angry if that happens, actually, Billy, to be honest, because I think we've brought Lewis Hall in for a reason. Clearly a better player than Matt Target. And I'm not having a go at Matt Target, but Hall is a better player.
I mean, he could potentially play Hall where Molly is, couldn't he? I don't know. There's just so many bloody variations of what he could pick.
Well, this is what he'll probably be, since training yesterday, this is something that him and Tyndall and the coaching staff will have gone through and worked out different methods. They'll have watched Man City. But the problem is, Eddie has literally no idea how City are going to line up tomorrow, and nobody does. And nobody knows what Eddie's going to do. So, Eddie's sitting there wondering, who he's going to, because normally, if it was a Premier League game, he'd pretty much know who certain Manchester City players are that are defos on the team sheet. He doesn't know that tomorrow. So it's very difficult to try and prepare against a team that, could involve, 3 or 4 academy players, for instance. So he's not going to know what the hell is until an hour before kickoff.
Well, this gives me more confidence. I don't want to see Phil Foden running at Paul Dummett anymore.
No.
Can I mention one thing about this specific lineup as well? I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I don't want to see Wilson subbed on this game. I want Wilson to be rested because there was a tackle in that Sheffield United game where he got absolutely clean taken out, run through, demolished. And I, for a split second, just thought to myself, and he got back up and he carried on running. And I thought, Jesus, if that was 18 months ago, he snaps with that tackle. I'm just feeling, and then I had a little bit of reflection. I just thought we're really, really lucky that he's doing so well at the moment, and I feel like we need to be conscious of that. I really hope we take care of his minutes, which I have full faith in the coaching staff for that, because they've been so careful at keeping him fit since Eddie Howe's been in charge. Everybody was slagging Wilson off for his fitness. He's made a glass. He's not going to be useful for us as a striker long term. He has been, and he's earned a new contract. 18 goals in the Premier League last year. He fully deserved it. But I just feel like this is maybe that sort of game where, remember what happened last year at the same stage in this competition? We had a lot of people get injured. I just feel like it's one of those funny games where we've got to be careful. I'd like to see Wilson get a full rest this game and not get subbed on.
Maybe we'll see young Ben Parkins on the bench then.
Well, there is a possibility, yeah. I've just seen a comment from Susan, by the way, Alex. She says, does Alex dye his hair if we win the award?
Yes.
Wow! Guys, if that's not an incentive to get voting, there is nothing worth it. Go for it. If we win, are we talking anything?
I will go.
Alex?
I'm talking
First,
Gaza
second, or
Blonde.
third?
It's going to be Gaza Blonde. No, if we win the trophy, I will go Gaza Blonde.
Right. Well, there you go. Gaza Blonde if we win. So that's got to be incentive, Billy. I mean, I'm going to sit on my phone all night now. Sod sleep. I'm going for it. That would be that interesting. But yeah, look, for me, I think I'd love to see Lewis Miley start because I want to see him in a competitive game. Because he was fantastic in pre-season, wasn't he? Let's be honest. And Billy, he was against some decent opposition in pre-season and didn't look out of place.
No, he was superb in all the pre-season games he played. He was superb when he came on against Chelsea at the end of last season. Yeah, I think he's ready for a start in this. It's not going to be against Man City's first 11 by any shadow of the imagination. Yeah, it's got to be worth a go. Got to be worth a go.
But I mean, look, we're coming up to wrap the show up now. So, I mean, is that your start 11, Alex? Is that what you want, or was it before that the original one that you put on the screen? Is that what you're going for?
The before one is not what I want. The before one is what I've got. I've got a gut feeling that we may see something like that.
Yeah,
purely because of the Sheffield United shape towards the end of that game. I've already alluded to the fact that he could have played a 4-3-3. He could have played Hall in midfield. He still had Burn on the pitch. We could have had 4 at the back, and he chose for whatever reason to play 5 with 2 in front. Why would he do that unless there is a plan for it?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody mentioned in the chat earlier, maybe to just keep the clean sheet. I don't know. I think we could have played another 300 minutes and Sheffield United wouldn't have scored at that point. I think they were dead and buried. They were gone. I'm going to go with something a little bit more. Obviously, we'll do predictions, but I would like to see something a little bit more like this.
Yeah,
this is what I would like to see. Maybe not Miley in the 6. Maybe Tonali in the 6. I feel like I'm just going to put it out there. I've said it a million times before, and it's upset people. I'm happy to wrap Lewis Miley and Cotton Wall because a lot of the fan base are quite happy to absolutely batter players who have one bad game. And if Lewis Miley has a bad game against Man City in the Cup, there's going to be 10-20% of the fan base go, oh, he's not at this level. We don't need him anymore, which is not fair on anybody. So I'd rather not give him. It's a big responsibility protecting a back 4, especially a back 4 with Lascelles in it, who's not played a lot of games recently. So,
indeed,
I feel like Tonali's maybe the better player.
Man City 21s are actually playing now in that pizza trophy thing. There's no Oscar Bob in the lineup. None of the names I recognise.
Yeah, so I think a few of the kids will play. Billy, what about your lineup? Is that pretty much?
Yeah, pretty much that. Yeah, that's what I think that we'll go with tomorrow.
Yeah, I do as well. I mean, there's not much else you can do.
I think Botman will be captain.
Yeah, interesting. Right, we'll do score predictions. Put your score predictions in the chat, guys. Alex, what are you going for? I mean, it's totally like pissing in the wind, this, because we haven't got a clue.
Oh, God, it is. This is one of those games that could be 4-0 to either side. I've got no idea. It completely depends on the lineup. I mean, realistically, based on what I think we're going to use and what they're going to use, and we're at home as well, aren't we? So, I mean, that's got to play a part, especially with their youngsters. I think we're going to win. I do think we're going to win. We're at home. They're going to rotate. They've got young players. Again, we're a very intimidating, hostile ground to go and visit at the moment. Off the back of an 8-0 victory.
Yeah.
I'm rambling because I've got no idea what the score is going to be. 2-1 to us? Question mark?
Well, we've seen some very... I mean, it's pointless predicting goal scorers because we haven't got a clue what the lineup's going to be, to be honest. I've seen some ridiculous scores going in as 7-2 Newcastle. Fez reckons it's going to be 0-0 and 10-9 on penalties. Of course, there's no extra time in these games. It goes straight to penalty kicks if they're a draw. Newcastle for life, 3-2 to the Toon. Alex, Billy, if Lascelles plays tomorrow, he's captain.
Yeah, of course he'll captain. Yeah, of course he will. Yeah.
I didn't even realise that either. I agreed with you on Botman, but there you go. 3-1 Newcastle. Gary Crossman, Irish Toon says 5-4. I think there could be goals tomorrow. Definitely goals. Hopefully,
definitely 0-0 now. You've said that 0-0 penalties. No,
there'll be goals. There'll be goals. Spoons, thank you for a 199 super chat. He says Irani Granny blue rinse stato. I can't see Alex getting a blue rinse. It's definitely going to go blonde.
I did like how somebody alluded to, I can't remember who it was, I do apologise, but it made me giggle. It was Griezmann pink as a haircut, as a hair colour. I didn't realize that was a thing, but I guess it is, isn't it? Griezmann pink.
It is, yeah.
I'm not going Griezmann pink.
Billy, what you going for?
I think we'll win 2-0. I just don't think Man City will be up for it at all. It'll be, as I say, a training exercise for them. And I think we'll cruise past them 2-0.
Interesting. I'm going 3-2. I think it'll be a high-scoring game. But listen, I'm going 3-2. I haven't got a Scooby-Doo, if I'm openly honest, because we don't know what 11s are going to come out. I think it's better to do a prediction when we do the bloody watch-along tomorrow. So it'll be me and Billy, because the game's on Sky, so Alex doesn't sort of get it. Are you joining us, Alex, or are you in the pub?
No, I do have Sky. I don't have TNT. It's the other way around.
Okay. So you'll be with us tomorrow for the watch-along. So it'll be the three of us doing it. Or them two if I'm okay to go to the match, obviously. So, it may be me, it may be them two, it may be all three of us, who knows. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. Thank you to all the super chats and new memberships tonight. And a massive thank you again for everyone that keeps on voting for the Toon Review and the Content Awards. The link is in the description. If you're watching this afterwards on a rerun, the link will still work. If you're listening on podcasts, just go into one of the Toon Review shows that we've done on YouTube and you'll see the link. Please, just everybody go and vote. The link is on Twitter as well. Please, as well, we do have a Facebook group as well. If you want to join the Toon Review community on there, there's about 3,000 and odd members on there. So get you across to Facebook as well. But thank you very much for joining us tonight. And, 7:30 we will join you. 7:45 kickoff, isn't it?
I think so.
I thought it was 8.
Is it 8 o'clock?
I think so.
Hang on, let me just get FOTMob up and I'll take a quick peek.
FOTMob says 7.
FOTMob's an hour be funny. It's 8 o'clock kickoff, yeah.
So it must
So
be.
we'll be on at 7:45. We normally do half an hour build up for Premier League matches, but we'll be on at 7:45 tomorrow with an 8 o'clock kickoff. So do join us for that, everybody. Thank you for your amazing support again tonight. Alex is making me go a bit doolally, seeing things on the screen that shouldn't be there. But thank you very much. And we really appreciate it. Get yourself across to Patreon as well if you want the instant reaction podcasts on there as well, straight after the games. It could be angry. It could be celebrating. It could be anything, really. So, yeah. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We will see you for the watch-along. 7:45 start with an 8 o'clock kickoff. And, enjoy the rest of the evening. And we go again tomorrow. We will see you then. Good night.
How are the lads and lasses?
Come back and check out some green.